because I have 2 hot takes about the Mario franchise.
What's he going to say about me?
Let's start with someone from the 845.
Hey, kind of funny. My video game hot take is that I think Mario 64 ages badly. I never played it as a kid, even though I had an N64. Tried to play it as an adult when it came out on the 3D collection, and oh my god, does that game control so bad. I honestly think that Sunshine is better simply for the fact that it feels more natural when I play it.
He's not wrong.
Sunshine is better?
About the controls.
Version of the
Mario
take would be
controls
that
better.
I've had more fun playing Marvel's Avengers than I have had playing Mario 64. Sorry, Blessington, but without nostalgia, that game is not that great. Odyssey all the way.
Now, it's funny that everybody buckled, bristled, and guffawed when Mario Sunshine came up. Can we also play Sam from Michigan? Just back to back here at the Mario.
Hi, this is Sam calling out of Michigan. I think that Super Mario Sunshine is a better 3D Mario or early 3D Mario game than Super Mario 64. Better graphics, better sound, more memorable characters, better world. People they complain about the camera as if it's easy to control the camera on the N64 with the busted-ass C buttons to control the camera on Mario 64.
How's it busted?
Better game all around. Thank you. Bye.
No.
Hi, this is Ralph Sampson.
No.
Love you guys.
No. The problem with Sunshine, apart from it looking and controlling like it gives you the illusion that it should control more modernly. And it doesn't. It doesn't let you do a full 360. And that's one of the most frustrating things because your camera will just stop on a certain wall. And you could turn all the way, but you're never doing a 360. You might do like a 280 degrees this way, you turn this way, there's another mountain there, so you can't keep rotating. And that's what's one of the more frustrating things about Sunshine is it was right on the precipice of being modern enough to feel like a modern 3D platformer. But Mario 64 works within its constraints so much better and understands, like, you know what you're getting when you're hopping into Mario 64. It's like, this is like complaining that, you can't jump in 3 dimensions in Super Mario World or something. It's like, you know what you're getting with Super Mario 64. But Mario Sunshine was right there where you could move your camera a lot, and it also just feels like shit, and it has way worse design in terms of like what makes a mission fun. Designing missions in Mario Sunshine, it felt like it just feels terrible to play, and it's not fun to kind of go explore. I hate Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, Mario
Thank you, goodbye.
Yeah, thank you.
I didn't play enough Mario Sunshine to I can't give a super informed opinion on that game. What I can say
Just know it sucks.
That for the time I played it, I was like, I'm good. I don't need to play any more of this. And I mean, some of that comes to the way it controls. Where I did not like the way that Mario Sunshine felt to play, and I compare that to Mario 64, and granted, I'll admit that I am very biased on this take because Mario 64 was my first video game, right? I played that video game all through my life, so I cannot tell you how it's aged accurately because for me, that game still feels perfect. And a big part of that is how Mario controls, right? Mario 64, in terms of controlling a character, still has way more functionality than so many 3D games, even a lot of 3D platformers, honestly, right? The triple jump, the long jump, the backwards jump, the the wall kick. There's so much that you could, the fucking sideways jump, climbing up a tree, going to the top, and then doing that little front flip thing. There's so many ways that you can move as Mario that make that game feel satisfying, and honestly, in my mind, makes that game still feel somewhat modern, just in the moving Mario alone. That's before we even get into the conversation about the level design of Mario 64 and how good that level design is. And I'm not saying that Mario 64 does not play like a game that was developed yesterday, of course, because that game came out in 1996. But for a game that came out in 1996, for a game that came out on the N64 period, look at that generation and look at anybody, try to find any other game that is doing it like that. I don't think you will, right?
Yeah, I am right there with you, obviously, Bless. Where I cannot remove my nostalgia and bias towards Mario 64 in any way, shape, or form. It is one of my favorite games. I play it almost every year. I love this game, and I love how it feels, despite not all of it feeling great. The camera is bad, especially compared to modern things. It works, though. The camera has not stopped me enjoying the game in 30 years, you know what I mean? But also, I think that the reality is Mario 64 has aged. It's a very old game.
Yeah.
I would never say, oh, if you're jumping in now, you're going to have the same experience we did. You simply won't. It is very empty in a lot of ways. The emptiness is filled with magic and creativity throughout, though, that I feel like that stuff doesn't age. Like, that stuff remains, and if you are willing to move past the camera and not liking some of how he controls, which I understand the criticism there, I think that the actual game of Mario 64 hasn't aged at all. It's just there are parts of it that, are a lot. Odyssey is better in every single way when it comes to a lot of different things of Mario 64. But what makes Mario 64 special, that hasn't aged today.
New merch alert! We brought back the Portillo hat and t-shirt in new colors, as well as a stylish crew neck. I also wrote a children's book about Portillo, and you loved it so much that we sold out in just 3 hours. Wow, thank you! But fear not, we're doing another limited run. So if you want one, head over to kindafunny.com/store, click the books page, and hit notify me when available to make sure you know when it goes live. And while you're there, grab a few shirts for your friends.
What makes Sunshine the worst, I think, is not only those little nitpicks that I have with its sort of technical presentation and how it feels, but the actual missions, the story. Like when you're hopping back into the world to do, you got to collect 8 of those, whatever the fucking things they are. And when you're on number 3 and you're like, this is what you're asking me to do right now, and it's so unfun. It's unfun at its core already that they could have cut out half of the game and had a really good game, but it felt like they padded it out with like missions that really accentuated the unfunness of it all.
It's so funny how every time you talk about Mario Sunshine, I feel like this conversation you've had has been the most I've agreed with you. Like, you then always take it a little further than I would say, but I'm just like, I agree.
That's how we do it.
You cut out half of Mario Sunshine, and like, there's a great game there, but there is the other half, and I understand that. I do think that easily Mario Sunshine is the worst 3D Mario game.
One more thing I wanted to mention about Mario 64 specifically is like
one more thing.
I got 5 more minutes on Mario 64. Is I think Mario 64 in its design has nailed something that like a lot of modern games still haven't nailed. Even Mario Odyssey to some extent, right? Which is like designing a game around secrets and wonder. Like it reminds me of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom in this way, where a lot of the times you don't know you're about to uncover something really cool. I remember my first time when I got the amount of stars that led to like the ceiling like shining down and me being like, oh, what the fuck is that? And then looking up and all of a sudden like I'm flying as Mario. And how special that moment is. Like looking into the mirror in the room and seeing there's a painting there and being like, wait, what's that? And realize you can jump into it. Going downstairs in the basement and like
lowering the water. Peach's Castle's unmatched, man.
Like
even in modern Mario.
The wet dry world, where like you learn that the level the height in which you jump into that world determines the water level. The tick-tock clock, the time in which you jump in, like determining the rate at which like the mechanisms are going in the level. The game is filled with so many cool design decisions and so many cool secrets, and to this day not many games are living up to that level of genius in its design. And so like I'll fight for Mario 64. I'll physically fight for Mario 64.
But bless, like
throw hands.
F.L.U.D. was cool. Remember when you could just do the thing.
The best missions were when F.L.U.D. wasn't there. Damn. The best missions is when they take F.L.U.D. away and have you do, I'm just playing a 3D Mario game and I'm like platforming, and it's hard and it's frustrating, but those were the most fun moments that I had with it. Even though I knew I was going to be angry, but there was still like an old school sort of feeling of me playing, of having that Mario challenge. I think F.L.U.D. was like, when he's removed, that's where Mario Sunshine is at its best.
If F.L.U.D. is so cool, why hasn't he been in a Mario Party since, or a Mario sports game?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Where's his Mario Kart?
The successor.
Why is Luigi more on more posters than Link?
That's what I'm saying.
I want to jump off of what Bless is saying about the secrets and stuff of Mario 64, because if we're talking about Mario 64 aging badly, I do think it's like you got to compare it to the modern games and like compare what do the new ones do better than Mario 64 and what do they not do nearly as well. And I think that the core thing that we've not come close to touching to is how great the hub world of Peach's Castle is. And you even Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2, which I do think are quote unquote better games than Mario 64. You look at the Comet Observatory, it's a piece of shit. It sucks. That is not a fun hub world at all. Delfino Island and Sunshine, they tried something, it didn't work. Like there's
some
so
fruits
much.
you can't kick, they hurt you.
Sucks.
Fuck, stupid.
The spiky one.
They always took the worst path.